She is really, really infectious. The first thing that I met her at a conference previously, at a Teach Me previously, and I saw her today, and I kind of did the kind of civil, oh hi, now I'm a hugger. Okay, straight up. So that's the kind of person she is. Warm, compassionate, caring, and if we could put our hands together for Jaz Ampaw-Farr.
Wow, what a build-up. Thank you. Hello. Hi, I'm Jaz, and I'm going to keep my eye on the timer. I'm not going to go over time, and I'm going to be hilarious. So 2 years ago, I was working one evening, and I was feeling overwhelmed. And so I did what any resourceful teacher would do. I put the work aside, I got a bottle of wine, and I put The Apprentice on. So as I was watching The Apprentice, I realised my talents were, in fact, wasted. And what I should be doing is winning £250,000 and going into business with Lord Sugar. So that's what I did. And that's how I find myself, happily, one of the apprentice candidates. You can see how happy I am there on the back row, having the time of my life in The Apprentice. Now, I was a huge success on the show, if being a huge success is being fired in the first week. Because, thank you. Because of my inability to sell any lucky Chinese cats while standing in Chinatown. That's how bad it was. But, you know, when I talk about The Apprentice, people say to me, why did you volunteer to be the team leader in the first task? Have you never seen the show? If you're the team leader in the first task and you lose, you get fired. And my answer to that is, well, first of all, I thought I was going to win. So I thought volunteering was pretty safe. And second of all, I'm actually really comfortable with the possibility of failure. That doesn't mean I want to fail, but I'm not running away from it. And if you're a spectacular teacher in this room tonight, then that's your fault. And I'll tell you why. This is me and my family. Usually I put an arrow to say which one's me, but, you know, it's like spot the odd one out. I'm the good-looking one, obviously. It took 5 adults to make these 6 children, 1 woman, and the rest were guys. And none of them are going to win Parent of the Year award. Because they're, you know, this family that you see here, this is one of the only photos we have together. Because after being, when we first, sort of my biological mum and my stepdad, the one of four of those kids' dad, when they got together and we moved in with them, it was a horrific tale of abuse. We were beaten within an inch of our lives. It was nothing short of torture. I was in a position where I wanted to die. I was scared for my life every single day, and I knew the true meaning of fear. And while that was going on, I was in school, and I was being encouraged to read books, and I was being encouraged to write stories. And I wasn't interested in any of that because it had no relation to the horror that I wanted. All I wanted to know from school, how do I survive? That was all I was interested in. Now, I was going back home to that every night. Eventually, we were rescued and put into foster care. Don't know if anyone's been in foster care. It's not the nicest place to spend your formative years. It's actually quite a frightening place to be. And by the time I hit year 8, I knew several things about life. I knew I was worthless. I knew that I was a waste of space. I knew that I was dirty, guilty, cheap, and I would never amount to anything. And they weren't things that I thought possibly were true. Them I knew from personal experience. Bear with me, there's a happy ending. I did promise to be hilarious. As you can see, I'm not dead, so it all ended fine. The reason that I am not dead, that I'm not a drug addict, that I'm not a prostitute, and I've come pretty close to all of those, is because certain people interrupted the trajectory that my life was heading for. They stood in the fire that was my life and stood beside me. And every time I said, I can't, they said, what would it look like if you could? Every time I said, I can't do this anymore, I don't want to do this, I'm not worth it, they said, well, I believe in you, I'm right here. And I can name those people. Mrs. Cook, Mr. Simpson, Mr. Williams, Mrs. Morley, because those people were the teachers who stood beside me and interrupted my trajectory. Mrs. Cook noticed that I wasn't bad at reading, so she put me in charge of reading to smaller children. It was her that made me realize that I was born to be a teacher. That was what I was going to do. I was going to pay it forward. But then I realized that obviously because I spent my whole time messing about and fighting, I didn't actually know anything. So I had to go into lots of kind of okays. And actually, this isn't in my script, but there's how I got into teacher training college. When I took my A-levels, I was going through a terrible time. I'd just come out of foster care. You know, you get given 250 quid and you're off on your own. I had no idea what I was doing. I was sleeping rough. But I knew I wanted to go to university. I knew I wanted to do it. So I'd scraped through with 2 E's. I phoned the first college in Clearing, and I said, oh, hello, my name's Jaz. I got 2 E's. And they said, no, thanks. And I thought, oh, right. So I phoned the next one. It was Aberdeen University. It's a true story. I phoned them. I said, hello, my name's Jaz. I got 2 E's. And they went, 2 E's? And I went, oh, no, 2 E's. And she went, oh, no, because they were Scottish. Don't know if you're following my accents or not. But then I thought, flipping heck, E sounds like A in a Scottish accent. Oh, yeah. So I called the next college, Bishop Grosseteste College, and I said, hello, my name's Jasmine. I got 2 E's. And he went, 2 A's, come for an interview. I was like, yes. So I put the phone down. I thought, what have I done? What have I done? I can't start my career as a teacher as a big fat liar. So I went for the interview and I thought, I'm going to be totally honest when I get there. I sat down and he said, you're from Broxtowe Estate in Nottingham? I said, yeah. He said, well, most people don't finish school there. They tend to get pregnant at about 12 and drop out. How are you here? I said, let me tell you a story. So I told him about my past and my trajectory and how teachers and blah, blah. And then at the end I said, oh, by the way, I lied. I've only got 2 E's, not 2 A's. Is that okay? and he said, he went quiet for a minute. He said, I'll make you a deal. If you promise to be more authentic, I promise to get you a place at this college. And that's why I'm standing here today, being authentic and talking about stuff that is not comfortable for me. I don't want to tell you about how I'm a big fat failure on The Apprentice. I don't want to talk about my horrible past. But actually, it's all part of the story. Because the reason those teachers saved my life, the reason I'm standing here now is because I got really clear about what's my why. Why am I doing this? And that's especially in teaching, whether it's your planning literacy, whether it's your planning your journey into leadership, or whether you're actually just wanting to have a life outside teaching, we need to get really clear on our why. So these are the 3 reasons why we don't achieve what we're looking for, why we don't get there. These 3 words. That guy who said, what words do you hear in your students here? What words do you say yourself when you're getting ready, your kids ready for school in the morning? That encouraging talk you give to your children to make them positive, like, get your coat on, put the cap down, get your book bag, all that stuff. So this was my language when I was young. Can't, don't, and won't. And these 3 things are tied into. Can't means you haven't got the skills yet. Not you haven't got the skills, but you haven't got the skills yet. What would it look like if you could? What do you need to turn your can't into a can? Don't is about expectation. And we have this ourselves, don't we? We expect to do well, don't we? We have high expectations. Or is it hope? Because you don't get paid 40 grand a year to hope that your kids do well. Expectation is different to hope, and we need to get on the right side of that. And won't is about mindset and all the fabulous stuff that we talk about in growth mindset. So I've got a question for you. I just want you to put your hands up if you are a success. Hands up so I can see. Okay, that's not very good, because not everyone has their hand up, and the ones who do were too slow. So what I want you to do, obviously the ones who haven't got their hands up are total failures, that's good. So what I want you to do is turn to the person next to you and tell them, because a success is just someone who failed and got back up. Yeah, that's the definition of success. So turn to the person next to you and tell them a time when you had an epic failure, but you didn't die. Go. Okay, so now hands up if you're a success. Because here's the thing. What we need to start doing, what I found we need to start doing in classrooms is being really authentic with our students. Because if someone had just said to me, how are you today, Jaz? How are you working out? How's it working out for you today? Yeah, and when the teachers did, it just made me feel like I was a human being other than someone who just turned up every day and got stuff thrown at them, work to do that I struggled with most of the time. And what we need to start doing is start making mistakes. We say in our classrooms, I want you to make a mistake. It's fine. Just do your best. It's fine not to get it right. You don't have to be the best. You just have to. We're big fat liars. The work all around the room is perfect. Everything everywhere is perfect. Look, I'm not a hot mess, am I? I'm dressed. I got my hair done. We're saying it's okay to make a mistake. We're not living that brand, are we? And actually, we need to start making mistakes, and we need to start making true mistakes and modelling it. So I learned to juggle one year, and I was juggling, and I was going to make a video and show the kids what learning looks like. And I showed them this video. When I put it together, it was all the good bits of me juggling, going, oh, look, I can juggle, how good. And my husband said, aren't you supposed to be talking about learning? Where's the bits where you shouted at me because I wasn't holding the camera properly? Where's that bit where you cried when you dropped the balls? And I'm like, you're right. He's so supportive, my husband. So anyway, I did put together an offcuts video, and I showed my kids, and I got 2 comments that rocked my world. The first one was, Miss, it's good to see you looking stressed. And I thought, are you kidding me? That's my baseline, stressed. But I realised I never show them that. All I show them is everything's fine, everything's lovely. And another girl, I said to them, the thing is, I didn't want to show you because it made me feel bad. And she said, well, welcome to my world, miss. I feel like that all the time. And I thought, wow. So mistakes are good. You need to make mistakes. You need to value mistakes. You need to aim for failure. Because mistakes, school is the right time to make mistakes. Yeah? Our teachers make a difference. Not really. No pracking. I don't know what it is. And actually, the more I did this part, I don't think that's a mistake. I think that's right. I think it's harsh, but it would work, wouldn't it? So what I want to encourage you to do tonight, please, aim for stellar failure. This is the level of failure we need to aim for. Epic, nationwide failure. So that everyone you know, everyone you ever meet knows that you went on The Apprentice and you got fired first. If it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for teachers prepared to put their lives on the line and stand beside me, I wouldn't be here. So on behalf of every child who you don't know what they're going through, what they've been through, but they turn up and you take a tiny bit of interest in them, on behalf of every child you've taught in the past, who is now going to be something amazing because of what you did, I'm standing here today and I'm saying from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Yes.